This is San Diego News Daily.
I'm Monica Dean. Let's get right into your top local stories. On this Wednesday, we are staying on top of a developing story in City Heights where a man was shot and killed along University Avenue just a couple of blocks east of Interstate 15. Police say so far they have not made any arrests. NBC7's Audra Stafford has been following the story since early this morning. She has the latest on the investigation.
The shooting happened just before midnight in that alleyway on the other side of University. You can see it has been blocked off as police gather evidence and talk to witnesses, trying to piece together exactly what happened. The investigation began early this morning after someone flagged down officers and told them they heard gunshots. Officers searched the area and found a man on the ground in the alley who was suffering from at least one gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital but did not survive. Homicide detectives were at the scene until well after sunrise, collecting evidence and looking at surveillance video from the nearby smoke shop. They learned the man who was killed was involved in some sort of fight with another man in the alley before the shots rang out. I spoke to a woman who lives in the alley. She didn't want to go on camera, but told me she heard a gunshot and took off running. Moments later, she heard another shot, then learned her friend had been killed. Another woman who used to live on the street says the violence is the result of a bigger problem.
Homeless people are moving from corner to corner. They're getting desperate. And so when there's desperateness, there's no love. When there's hope, there's help.
Police are hoping for help from the public to solve this case. They say a person of interest was detained and interviewed by detectives, but has since been released. We'll continue to follow the investigation and bring you any new information as we get it. From City Heights, I'm Audra Stafford, NBC7.
The California Department of Justice is investigating a deadly shooting involving San Diego police officers. This happened just before 7 yesterday morning in City Heights at the intersection of Orange Avenue and 52nd Street near Fay Elementary. According to police, this all started with a call about a man with a gun and a knife. Police say they tried to de-escalate the situation, and when that didn't work, they used beanbag rounds and a police dog, but eventually opened fire. It's unclear how many officers fired their weapons or just how many shots were fired.
It was within like about 6 to 9 gunshots that we heard.
I was just sitting out there and I just heard like clack, 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 you know what I mean? I'm like, oh dang, that's a gunshot, you know what I mean?
The man's name has not been released. After the California DOJ completes its investigation, the case will be turned over to its criminal law division for review. Okay, you're looking at video here showing a pilot hugging his wife after that small plane he was flying in a crash. It crash landed in Fallbrook. Remember this? Okay, so this was the scene yesterday afternoon. John Tomaszewski's Cessna ended up upside down in the Los Higueros Nature Preserve, sparking a fire. Responding officers and crews say they were surprised to see this man on his feet. The pilot was just only minorly hurt.
It was a lucky crash to walk away from.
Tomaszewski declined an on-camera interview, but he did tell us he had just left the French Valley Airport in Temecula. 10 minutes later, as he was approaching Fallbrook Air Park runway, his engine failed. He said he didn't want to hit the embankment near the runway, so he bailed out on the southbound lanes of Mission Road. Once the plane touched down, its speed went from 75 to 85 miles per hour because it went downhill. The left wing slammed into a tree, twisting, then flipping the plane into the reservation, leaving behind a debris field of about 100 feet. The pilot says he roughly has 3,300 hours of flying, 1,000 of those in this very plane. He trained pilots in the military. Chief Meteorologist Sheena Parveen joins us now with a look at your forecast.
Hi there. As we head through the afternoon, it's not going to be as hot as yesterday, but still warm. And if you're heading to the Padres game, 1:10 first pitch will be around 80 degrees and sunny. Inland Valley's mid-80s, mountains around the low 80s, deserts near 100 degrees. And we have a cooling trend on the way. So tomorrow you're going to notice it a little bit more, but especially on Friday. So for the Inland Valleys tomorrow, low 80s, Friday, mid-70s, unseasonably cool. Partly sunny, so we'll see more clouds move in, chance of drizzle. And over the weekend, still feeling like fall.
Take a look. Do you recognize this person? Authorities want to hear from you if you do, what they're doing in this video that has people on edge. That's coming up next. Stay with us.